morning. The next topic is data collection and instrument design. The data required for your research can be either primary or secondary. The primary data are original data which are collected for the first time for a specific purpose. The data collected originally for the first time for a specific purpose, that is what is called primary data. They are collected first hand by researcher specifically for addressing the problem faced by the researcher. Then what is secondary data? The secondary data are those which have already been collected by others for their use. But we are using the data for our study. Such data are called secondary data. Research data can be classified into primary data and secondary data. Primary data can be classified into quantitative data and qualitative data. Quantitative data can be collected through survey, observation, and experimentation. Survey can be conducted using either interview or questionnaire. Then for qualitative data, we can use either focus group or depth interview or projective techniques. Qualitative data can be collected using focus group interview or depth interview or projective techniques. Then first of all, observation. What is observation? Observation is a basic method of gathering information about the world around us. So, this method is used for collecting information. And observation is the process of noting and recording the information about people and their behavior without asking specific questions. No questions are asked by the researcher, but we are just observing and noting and recording the information. Okay, such a method is called observation. Let us see what are the characteristics of observation. First one is direct method. Why? Because in this method, the sense organs, particularly the eye, ear, voice, etc., are used to record the information or collect the data. Second feature is collection of primary data. The main purpose of observation is to collect primary data. So, observation is a tool used to collect primary data. Third one, scientific observation and deep study. In this method, the observer goes to the field and makes direct study. He is able to know things by himself in a scientific manner. So, we scientifically observe the phenomenon and we collect the data using observation. Fourth one is collection follows observation. In this method, the investigator first of all observes things and then collects data. First we observe the things and then we collect the data. Fifth one is relationship between the investigator and the respondent. Since the investigator himself comes in contact with the phenomenon, a relationship is established between the investigator and the respondent. So, a relationship is established between the investigator and the respondent so that we can collect data in a systematic manner. Sixth one is scientific method of collecting dependable data. It is classical method which is the most suitable method for collection of detailed data when a from a wide field. So it is a scientific method of collecting reliable or dependable data. Then now types of observation. First one is simple or uncontrolled observation. We are not controlling the phenomenon. We are just collecting the data by observing. Okay. Second method is controlled or contrived observation. Under this method, a controlled atmosphere will be created and we collect data under the controlled environment. Structured observation. In structured observation, the observation will be made in a structured manner. The structured atmosphere will be there. Unstructured observation. The next one is participant observation. In participant observation, the observer participates in the participant in the group to observe the phenomenon and collect the data. Non-participant observation. The observer is not participating in the group for collecting data. He just observe the uh, group and just collect the data using these methods. Now, what are the merits of observation methods? First one is, it is the simplest and the most popular method in the field of research. It is simplest method and it is most widely used method in research. Second one is, this method is useful for the formulation of hypothesis. We can formulate hypothesis using the data obtained from observation. Third one is, this is the direct method and as such the data collected are more accurate. This is a direct method used for collecting data. So the data collected using the observation will be more accurate. Fourth one, the researcher himself collect the data and as a result are more dependable and convincing. Who collects the data? The researcher himself observes the phenomenon and collects the data. As a result, the data collected will be more dependable and convincing. Then now, what are the demerits of observation method? First one is, it is not possible to observe every phenomenon. Okay, so that is one of the important limitations of observation method. The second one is, observation becomes faulty when the participant happens to become aware of the observation. When the participant is aware of the observation, we can collect original data using observation method. Third one is personal bias and the prejudice of the observer makes the results of the observation faulty. Due to the personal bias and the prejudice of the observer, the results of the observation may be faulty. Fourth one, events which occur over a long duration pose the problem of measurement. We can't observe a particular phenomenon for a long period of time. In such case, the problem of measurement will happen. Fifth one, although use of mechanical devices like eye camera, laser scanner, etc. has increased accuracy, they are certainly very expensive. So for collecting data, we can use mechanical devices like eye camera, laser scanner, etc. But such mechanical devices are very expensive. The use of such devices are very expensive. So these are the important limitations of observation method. Then now, what are the differences between survey and observation? Survey method and observation method. First one is type of information source. In survey, awareness or attitude, current and past behavior we can measure all these facts. We can collect all these facts. But in observation, current behavior and results. We can collect information regarding current behavior and results. Control over data gathering activities. In survey, it is relatively high. Observation, relatively low control over data gathering activities. Data accuracy. In survey, it is relatively low. Accuracy is very relatively low. In observation, relatively high. Fifth one, time factor. Survey, relatively high. Observation, relatively low time is required. Fifth one, personal skills required. For conducting survey, relatively high. For observation, relatively low. So these are the important differences between survey method and observation method. Then now, interview. What is an interview? An interview is basically a meeting between two persons to obtain the information related to the proposed study. So it is a meeting between two persons to obtain information related to the proposed study. The person who is interviewing is called the interviewer, and the person who is being interviewed is called the informant or interviewee. Okay. Then what are the characteristics of interview? First one is, it's a dialogue between two or more persons. Second one is, there is a definite object of interview, such as knowing the views and idea of others. So there's a definite object of conducting an interview. Third one, there is face-to-face contact or a primary relationship between the individuals, the interviewer and interviewee. There is face-to-face contact between the interviewer and interviewee. Next one, through interview method, data are collected for studying social problems. Okay. Then now, classification of interviews. First one, direct personal interview. Second one, indirect personal interview. Third one, structured interview. And fourth one, unstructured interview. So let us discuss in detail. First one, direct personal interview. Direct personal interview. Under this method, the interviewer meets the informants personally and asks them questions pertaining to inquiry and collects the desired information. What the interviewer is doing, he meets the informants personally and asks questions relating to the inquiry and collects the necessary information directly from the interviewee. That is the method followed here. Second one, indirect personal interview. When this method is adopted, this method is followed when it is not possible to collect data directly from the informants. When the data cannot be collected from the informants directly, we can use indirect personal interview method. Okay, what is doing here? The investigator contacts third parties or witnesses who are closely associated with the persons or situations under study and are capable of providing the necessary information. We are contacting third parties or witnesses. Okay. And collect data from the third parties or witnesses. ഉദാഹരണം പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നമ്മുടെ ഒരു ഗവൺമെൻറ് ഓഫീസിൽ ബ്രൈബിംഗ് നടക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്നറിയാൻ ഒരിക്കലും ഒരു ഓഫീസറുടെ അടുത്ത് പോയിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ കൈക്കൂലി വാങ്ങിക്കാറുണ്ടോ എന്ന് ചോദിച്ചാൽ ഒരാളിൽ നിന്ന് വ്യക്തമായ മറുപടി ലഭിക്കില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് അതുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട മറ്റ് തേർഡ് പാർട്ടീസ്, ഇവരുമായിട്ട് ഇടപെടുന്ന മറ്റാളുകളിൽ നിന്നും ആ ഓഫീസിലുള്ള ആരൊക്കെ കൈക്കൂലിയൊക്കെ വാങ്ങിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് എന്നതിനെ കുറിച്ചുള്ള വിവരം ശേഖരിക്കാൻ ഏറ്റവും നല്ലത് തേർഡ് പാർട്ടീസിനെ കോൺടാക്ട് ചെയ്യൽ ആയിരിക്കും. തേർഡ് വൺ, structured interview. In a structured interview, a set of questions will be asked and the responses are recorded in a standardized form. In structured interview, a set of questions, already prepared set of questions will be asked and the responses are recorded in a standardized form. Unstructured interview. In unstructured interviews, the investigator may not have a preset questions but only have a number of key points around which to build the interview. Okay. In unstructured interviews, the investigator may not have already set a set of questions, but we have a number of key points. Using the key points, we conduct the interview. Then now, what are the merits of interview methods? First one is, people are more willing to supply information if approached directly. Right? We will give more information when the interviewer approaches us directly. Second one, it has to study the events that are not open to observation. Some phenomena cannot be studied using observation method. So it helps to study events that are not open to observation. Third one, the information that is collected through interview method is quite reliable. The information collected using interview method is more reliable. Fourth one, even past events can be studied using this method. Past events can be studied using this method. By interviewing the persons associated with that particular event, we can collect data relating to the past events. Fifth one, interview method can be undertaken even with illiterates. So we are asking questions and they are answering our questions. So we can use this method even with illiterates. That is another important advantage of interview method. Then now the limitations. First one, the data collected may not always be reliable. What is the reason? Because of the possibility of the influence of bias and prejudices of the interviewer. Okay. Second one, the interviewers must be properly trained. Otherwise, what will happen? The entire work may become meaningless. Only trained interviewers can collect the correct information. Third one, it is relatively expensive and time consuming, especially when the number of persons to be interviewed is large and they are spread over wide area. This is very expensive method and time consuming method when the number of persons to be interviewed is very large and they are spread over a wide area, geographical area. And next one is, it cannot be used when the field of inquiry is large. When the field of inquiry is very large, we can't use interview method. Okay, thank you.